Okay. All right, friends, we're ready to finish this up and get finished with this today. I really hate Monday tests, but I think that I know.
It might need to be Tuesday because of this guy.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not going to work either. Friday, I have a study guide for this chapter that we'll work on the study guide. And then I hate Monday tests. So we'll do test Tuesday. So we'll do study guide Monday, Friday, Monday, and then test on Tuesday. All right. So we finished up looking at education. Bless you. How education changed, how the opportunities for people to have education changed. Bless you. And now we're going to move into the last bit of entertainment, new forms of entertainment. So during the Gilded Age, new forms of entertainment emerged. You read a little bit about that yesterday with the Buffalo Bill Wild West show. Middle-class people began to take vacations. And again, that's a relatively new thing that will occur. And even the working class start looking for ways to escape city life, even for a day. And in doing so, these things called amusement parks begin to develop. And amusement parks are relatively the same in 1890 as they are in the 21st century. There are rides, there's food, and the whole objective of the amusement park is to escape into this fun place to relax and have fun. So Coney Island, which is in New York City, will be one of the first real amusement parks. And they will have rides like roller coasters. They have other rides, which I'll talk about in a second. And for the working class who could not actually go on a vacation, the idea of a day-long vacation. It also is, again, and we'll be talking about this a lot, a way for young people to interact, for young people to meet, and to actually begin dates or go on courtships and all those other things. So here's some of the first roller coasters, and they are, by our standards, fairly tame. Probably didn't go more than maybe about 10 to 15 miles an hour. They're not really going to have a lot. And those of you that like roller coasters, wooden roller coasters are a little bit different anyway. They got a lot of bounce and a lot of jump. But the ride with the longest lines in Coney Island would have been a ride called the Tunnel of Love. I don't know that they're anywhere else anymore. And it is exactly what the name implies. The whole entire ride is you and someone else sitting in some kind of floating, because it was an individual car. Often they were always like swans or some big kind of romantic, and it's just the two of you sitting in this thing, and then you go in this big dark tunnel for a long period of time. And then right before you come out of the tunnel, a light flashes to tell you you're getting ready to go outside, fix everything back up, and come out the other side. That was the most popular ride. It's called the Tunnel of Love. I don't know that there are any more like it, but it becomes one of the most popular rides. They're everywhere. All amusement parks had them. And the purpose was exactly in the name. There wasn't a lot of places for young people to have close contact. And that becomes one of the most highly sought out reasons to go to Coney Island. I thought I had a picture of one, a Tunnel of Love. Fun in the City, vaudeville shows, again, a mixture of musical drama, songs, comedy. Nickelodeons, this always makes me laugh, because obviously I would think all of you grew up watching Nickelodeon. Nickelodeons, when they first came out, were the first They called them at the time peep shows. And you would go sit in a booth by yourself and watch a little movie of ladies kind of sort of taking off the clothes. That's why I always laugh at Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon are the first little peep shows. They're called peep shows because you don't really see anything. Ladies are usually dancing with like fans or bubbles. And you could go watch a Nickelodeon usually for 5 cents. Ragtime bands are the beginning of like Dixieland jazz, one of the iconic types of music in the United States. And then yesterday you read about Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Those things were incredibly popular. They made tons and tons of money. And I always add Chautauquas because you guys know what a Chautauqua is, but Chautauquas back in the day were more like long revivals, camps, tents. People would camp in tents. So our Chautauqua out here in Miram, people would camp out. There were different lectures about politics and morals and bands and singers. And those Chautauquas offered a lot of variety for different groups of people. Not all of them were religious based, but most of them had some kind of religious base to them. There's Buffalo Bill, his show. And then pictures of Sitting Bull and Buffalo Bill Hickok. And here's Annie Oakley and Sitting Bull. And I think before we go on winter break, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we watch a movie that will have Sitting Bull in it. It's the Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. It's the last end of Indian wars, but and you'll hear in the movie that we watched them talk about Sitting Bull in the Buffalo Bill's Wild Show. This is a Chautauqua, so that would be the kind of things. And here is a Chautauqua where the people are all in their tents and what would be showing and playing at Chautauquas. Baseball becomes an extremely popular sport during the Gilded Age. It is probably next to boxing, the most popular sport. It was cheap. Relatively speaking, baseball games of any sport are still the cheapest to go to. Baseball is segregated, and in 1887, when a team will refuse to play against a team with an African American player, which then has a rise of the Afro, and at the time it was called the Negro League. The Negro League will produce some of the greatest athletes that eventually will show up in the 1940s in a regular baseball. And cities will build huge stadiums to hold all those people, playing customers, horses, bicycle riding, boxing, football, basketball will also be very popular spectator sports. And again, people have, in order for that to work, in order for those things to happen, people have to have extra money. And again, that's where we are talking about, especially for young people, having that extra money. And so here are early baseball players with those mitts that I would not want to catch anything with. This baseball player is Long Island, so every team every little area had their own team. I would assume that there was probably large baseball teams in and around this area that formed up and offer that kind of entertainment. So our last one, what luxuries did cities offer to middle class? Again, popularity and influence, and creates this culture of amusement and the idea of vacations and all of that stuff. So, all right. So that is all I have for us today. I'll have your study guide tomorrow that you can work on. And because I hate giving a test on Monday, we'll work on that study guide on Monday and then test on Tuesday. All right. Questions, anybody, about any of that? All right.
This class is too quiet now.
Well, yeah.
They could be out for 2 weeks.
It is very quiet, isn't it? between Carter trying to razz me all the time.
Why?